Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2021 movie titled Goodbye, Butterfly. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. In the opening scene, Ryan comes to put his daughter Mia to bed. She shows him a Thug Life poster she made for him, and Ryan knows her uncle, Tyler, was involved. Being his only child, Ryan loves her with his all life and always gives her tender care as a loving dad. Later, the two wished each other good night, with him responding, "Good night, Butterfly." Days later, a terrible scene unfolds as we discover Mia dead in the bushes far from her home. Detective Ivy Hammett informs the distraught family, and shortly thereafter, the residence throws a funeral party at which the extended family offers its sorrow. Ryan attempts and fails to obtain answers from Hammett, and his wife continues to spiral out of control, sinking into serious sadness. Ryan goes for a walk with his German Shepherd one day, and he notices that the dog is unusually interested in a neighbor's house, making Ryan suspicious. That night, Ryan grabs his camera and returns to the neighbor's house, where he photographs a strange man holding a butterfly hairpin that closely resembles Mia's. Ryan contacts Detective Hammett to express his suspicions, but after interviewing with the man, Stan Granger, they find no trace of the butterfly hairpin. Ryan is enraged because he knows what he saw, but Hammett reveals he could have been mistaken owing to the darkness and distance. Ryan insists that he is not insane, but Hammett informs him that blaming someone requires actual evidence. She reminds him that it is her responsibility to discover the killer and proposes that the couple seek grief therapy in the meantime. Ryan is convinced Stan has something to do with Mia, but Jess advises him to stop since nothing he does will bring her back. The next day, Jess finds a friend to help her pack her belongings and leaves before Ryan wakes up. He calls for her but instead finds a note on the kitchen table describing her sentiments and decision. After considering talking to the therapist for a while, Ryan realizes he has lost everything and decides he must exact his revenge. Ryan finds a small, remote apartment, which the landlord claims he seldom visits. He is worried that Ryan might commit a crime, but Ryan reassures him with more money and leaves. Ryan starts keeping a watchful eye on Stan's residence and closely follows him in his daily activities. His white kidnapper van exacerbates his predicament. Ryan then goes to see his brother, Tyler, and takes him back to the modest flat he has. At first, the two brothers attempt to keep their conversation lighthearted, but Tyler senses a change in the atmosphere. As Ryan has mentioned, he has taken this place to fulfill his obligations. Ryan shows Tyler the images and information he gathered from Stan and asks Tyler to procure him a gun. Tyler needs to drink a bottle of wine before he can even consider what Ryan intends to do. Tyler chastises Ryan for not having a credible plan, as simply storming into Stan's home and shooting him dead will not end well for him. Ryan sees no other choice, unable to accept Mia's killer's freedom while he is suffering. Tyler carefully evaluates his alternatives before deciding to take action. Ryan returns to Stan's house but notices that he has closed all of his blinds. As he heads back, he notices Tyler waiting in a van nearby and enters. Tyler confirms to him that Stan is indeed the murderer, and they proceed to make plans. They intend to make Stan appear to have just left town by arranging a train ticket from his residence and then making extra preparations for the proper disposal of the body. Tyler consents to give Ryan the gun, but only if he is part of the plan. This is because he was Mia's godfather, and the only way Ryan can live a regular life after this is if he gets help. The two prepare for the night, and Tyler hands Ryan a gun. Inside, Stan is simply sitting with a glass of milk. Tyler starts beating the garbage can outside, and when Stan comes to investigate, Tyler knocks him unconscious. They take the unconscious Stan to his own basement, cover the walls with plastic sheets, place him in a chair, and bound his arms. Stan ultimately recovers and recognizes Ryan, but he denies being a murderer. Ryan informs Stan about the butterfly hairpin he saw in Stan's hands that night, but Stan again denies it. He recalls how he allowed the detectives to search his house, but they found nothing because he is innocent. Despite his pleas, Ryan does not believe a word. Detective Hammett receives a call and promptly departs. Meanwhile, Ryan is persistently forcing Stan to admit to the killing, but Stan continues to deny it. Ryan has even injured his hand, but he believes Stan's willpower is going to shatter. Detective Hammett meets two other cops in the woods and ends up at the scene of another crime. She calls for nearby traffic camera footage in the hopes of catching the offender. Meanwhile, Ryan informs Stan that he saw him purchase children's vitamins and plush toys, yet he doesn't have a child. Stan reveals that they were for his niece, who had recently turned 3 years old. Stan clarifies that he prefers children's vitamins to adult ones. Ryan, perplexed, presents a book he discovered in his apartment on bonding with captors. Stan breaks down in tears, but Ryan urges him to stop talking and threatens to shoot him. Stan exclaims that it happened to him, and a perplexed Ryan lowers his firearm, asking Stan to explain further. Meanwhile, Detective Hammett, who is reviewing surveillance footage, spots a familiar van and pulls out her notes. Stan, too, experienced the kidnapping of his daughter, prompting Ryan to question his own actions. However, Tyler reassures him that it's too late to turn back, as the minimum term for kidnapping is 20 years. Ryan is still unsure whether he has found the proper man and is on a mission to locate Mia's butterfly hairpin. Meanwhile, Tyler pulls a knife on Stan, warning him he will die tonight but will be quick if he confesses to his misdeeds. Stan asks if he believes in God and delivers a lengthy speech about his innocence, but Tyler simply smirks. Meanwhile, Ryan, who is looking around, hears Stan scream and arrives to find him with a knife embedded in his leg. Ryan advises Tyler to back off because he isn't ready to kill Stan. Hammett had been watching from outside the house all this time. She approaches the house and peeps in the garage, where she discovers Stan's van. She calls for him at the door, but as Ryan approaches carefully, Tyler knocks Stan out. Without hearing anything, Hammett goes to the back door, but Stan has locked it, so she eventually exits. Ryan explains who she is to Tyler and wonders if she has finally discovered some dirt on Stan. Ryan wants to find out, but despite Tyler's warning that it's a dangerous idea, Ryan is eager to contact Hammett, saying that they have plenty of time. Ryan phones Hammett, wanting to hear more about the case. She declines, but Ryan insists he has information concerning Stan. Hearing this, Hammett decides to drop by Ryan's house in a few minutes. Ryan swiftly departs the house after hearing this, leaving behind a disappointed Tyler. Ryan arrives home just in time to open the door for Hammett. He inquires about Mia's case again, but Hammett informs him that there is no fresh evidence that would indict Stan, and he wants to know what information Ryan has for her. Ryan then shows her the collection of photos he has of Stan, and Hammett is interested. She then suggests to Ryan that Stan could be a suspect in the missing persons case and expresses her curiosity about whether Stan's vehicle has undergone recent repainting. Hammett departs, and Ryan searches for news coverage of the most recent instance involving a missing girl. Hammett approaches her senior to express her concerns about Stan's involvement in the latest case, but her senior insists on further proof. Ryan comes to Stan's home and shows Tyler the video of the most recent instance. Ryan examines Stan's van and discovers traces of a repainted exterior. Ryan realizes Stan closed all of his blinds the day the girl went missing. Tyler wants to execute Stan right away, while Ryan wants more time to convince Stan to confess. Ryan texts Hammett about the repainted van and advises Tyler to leave immediately because the cops could arrive at any moment. Tyler refuses, grabs a hammer, and proceeds to confront Stan about the increasing evidence against him, but Stan says that he painted his van to avoid rust and had nothing to do with any of the girls. Tyler and Ryan don't believe what Stan says, so they take off his shoes and use the hammer to break his foot. Despite his discomfort, Stan begins to recite Bible scriptures while Tyler shouts at him. The two brothers step back. While Ryan is determined to aid and locate the missing girl, Tyler believes they are in a hazardous situation and cannot break or kill Stan at this time. Ryan again asks Tyler to leave, apologizing for entangling his brother in the situation, but Tyler takes responsibility and refuses to leave his brother's side. They laugh that they are only awaiting prison sentences. Hammett wakes up to discover Ryan's text message and runs out of the flat. Tyler accidentally releases a trap door beneath the desk, revealing a case containing girls' hair clips, including Mia's butterfly hair clip. Ryan rushes over, and upon noticing the hair clip, both he and Tyler burst into tears. There is also a book with photos of Mia and other girls. Ryan is about to choke Stan to death, but Tyler intervenes. Stan launches a diatribe, claiming that his acts are consistent with the Lord's purposes and that his fundamental nature precludes him from opposing. The two brothers calm themselves down, assuring each other that they had finally apprehended Stan. They need to call 911 for help finding the still missing girl, while Tyler removes the plastic from the walls. Stan then reassures Ryan that he can accompany them to the missing girl, but only for the two of them, and that if they contact the police, he will withdraw his support. Stan can't bear the notion of spending the rest of his life in prison, with therapists probing his psyche, and he'd rather trade the life of the missing girl for a speedy escape. The brothers leave to think about their alternatives. Ryan now believes that contacting the police may not be the best plan of action if they actually care about saving the girl. They throw Stan in his own van and warn him to uphold his vow. They drive out in the van, unknowing that Hammett has already arrived and is following them. In the van, Stan admits to killing 5 other children and tries to understand Ryan's and the other parents' basic emotions. Stan begins to rant about overpopulation, claiming that a few lost individuals here and there are nothing compared to the massive challenges confronting the human race. Stan leads them to a dilapidated house in an old area and informs them that the missing child is upstairs. They hold him at gunpoint and lead him up the dark home steps, while Hammett approaches warily from the outside. Stan leads the brothers to the alleged room where Clara is being held, while Tyler holds the gun on him. They tell him to switch on the light, but Stan activates a floodlight, fights Tyler, and eventually pushes Ryan out of a boarded-up window. He then uses a pipe to knock Tyler unconscious, allowing him to release himself. Outside, Hammett detects the disturbance and draws her gun. Stan hears her attempt to enter the house and points his gun at the front door. As Hammett approaches, Stan successfully shoots her, knocking her to the ground. Ryan opens his eyes after hearing Mia's voice tell him to get up. He enters the house and attacks Stan, who has run out of bullets. The two struggle, and Stan obtains the upper hand, attempting to choke Ryan, but Ryan escapes. Tyler also launches an attack on Stan, but Stan responds with many stabs. He is ready to finish Tyler when Ryan tackles him, impaling and murdering Stan with a piece of wood. Ryan realizes Hammett is still alive, and the brothers hurry her to the hospital. Tyler remembers a basement bathroom they missed at Stan's house. They run back home, where they discover a false wall in the basement and begin ripping it away. Inside, they find the missing little girl, and Ryan leads her out of the room. She awakens, begging for her father, and Ryan bursts into tears as memories of Mia flood back to him. Hammett makes her way into the house and is surprised to see Ryan cuddling the missing girl. Following the interrogation, Hammett and her supervisor congratulate the brothers. When the senior leaves, Hammett informs them that she will contact them later to synchronize their stories before preparing her report. As they leave, Ryan runs into Jessica, and the two cry together. The horrible encounter continues to haunt the brothers days later. They call to check in, stating they don't feel like the heroes the media is praising. The next day, Ryan wakes up, calls Jess, and discovers a note revealing Jess's pregnancy. Ryan goes to Mia's room to finally say his goodbyes and eventually bids her, "Goodbye, Butterfly." Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.